At 86, Dolores Hart, once hailed as Hollywood's golden girl, finally chose to open up about her truth, one that connects her forever to the legendary Elvis Presley. Her name may not be as universally recognized today, but in the 1950s and early 1960s, Dolores Hart was a star on the rise, adored by critics, cherished by audiences, and admired by her peers. She was the woman who not only starred in iconic films of the era, but also captured the heart of America's most famous rock and roll star on screen. For many, she was destined to become one of the great leading ladies of cinema. Yet, her journey took a turn few could have predicted. This is not just the story of a young actress who shared the spotlight with Elvis Presley. It is the story of a woman who walked away from the glamour of Hollywood to embrace a life of spiritual devotion, courage, and profound meaning. Dolores Hart was born Dolores Hicks on October 20th, 1938, in Chicago, Illinois. She entered the world in a working-class family that instilled in her the values of resilience, faith, and community. Her early years were shaped by her strong Catholic upbringing, where church and family provided the foundation for discipline, compassion, and a sense of moral purpose. Dolores's parents recognized her natural curiosity and creativity from a young age. She displayed a gift for storytelling, imagination, and empathy that would later translate seamlessly into her acting career. Despite the challenges of growing up in a bustling city during the late Depression era and the difficulties of her parents' strained marriage, Dolores remained deeply anchored by the warmth of her extended family. They encouraged her to dream big, to cultivate her talents, and to believe in the value of meaningful work. These formative years not only prepared her for Hollywood's dazzling lights, but also planted within her the seeds of faith and moral clarity that would later guide her most unexpected life decision. Dolores's path to stardom began with her education. She attended Mundelein College in Chicago, a liberal arts institution dedicated to the development of women both academically and spiritually. There, she developed not only her intellectual capacity, but also her passion for the performing arts. The college offered her a safe space to explore literature, drama, and philosophy, while her Catholic environment reinforced the importance of reflection, service, and inner strength. It was in these years that Dolores realized acting was not merely entertainment. It was storytelling, a way to embody human emotions and to give voice to characters who could inspire audiences. This perspective would later set her apart in Hollywood, where many young actresses focused only on glamour. For Dolores, performance was a calling, an artistic craft rooted in sincerity and moral weight. Her education at Mundelein quietly prepared her for the dual life she would one day lead, one part under the bright lights of Hollywood and another in the quiet cloisters of a convent. Dolores Hart's career took off with remarkable speed. After signing a contract with Paramount Pictures, she became one of the studio's promising new faces. Hollywood at the time was filled with starlets, but Dolores stood out. She had poise, grace, and a charm that radiated through the screen, and more importantly, she had an authenticity that audiences immediately recognized. Her debut role paired her with none other than Elvis Presley in Loving You, 1957. At a time when Elvis was at the peak of his fame, starring alongside him was a career-making opportunity. Dolores held her own, not only complimenting his charisma, but also earning admiration for her warmth, sincerity, and screen presence. Critics noted that unlike many of Elvis's co-stars, Dolores was not overshadowed by him. Instead, she matched his energy, creating a believable and captivating on-screen romance. This debut marked the beginning of a meteoric rise. Almost instantly, Dolores was catapulted into the limelight, earning more roles and recognition. Hollywood had found in her a young actress capable of delivering both innocence and depth, a quality that made her ideal for the stories of the era. Following her debut, Dolores continued to shine. She reunited with Elvis Presley for King Creole, 1958, a film that remains one of the strongest entries in Elvis's acting career. The chemistry between the two was undeniable, and audiences flocked to see the pairing. For many fans, Dolores was not just another actress cast opposite the king of rock and roll. She was the actress who brought out a tender, more vulnerable side of Elvis. But Dolores's career was never solely defined by Elvis. She quickly proved her versatility with roles that showcased her range. She appeared in Where the Boys Are, 1960, a groundbreaking teen comedy that perfectly captured the cultural mood of America's youth at the dawn of the 1960s. The film tackled themes of love, freedom, and the anxieties of a changing generation. Dolores's performance balanced humor with vulnerability, sophistication with innocence, making her a favorite among both teenagers and critics. Her growing fame highlighted not only her acting talent, but also her natural beauty and elegance. She became known as one of Hollywood's most promising young stars, admired for her grace and ability to portray layered characters. Unlike many actresses typecast into frivolous roles, Dolores demonstrated from the beginning that she was capable of much more. Critics admired her for bringing sincerity and emotional truth to her performances, qualities that earned her respect beyond box office numbers. By the early 1960s, Dolores Hart had achieved what many young actresses only dreamed of: fame, critical recognition, and a flourishing career. Yet, beneath the surface, her path was already diverging from Hollywood's expectations. The turning point of Dolores's career came with Where the Boys Are. The film wasn't just a commercial success, it became a cultural phenomenon. Released in 1960, it captured the restlessness, desires, and anxieties of a generation on the brink of social transformation. Dolores's performance resonated deeply as she embodied a young woman navigating the complexities of love and identity in a changing world. Her charm and emotional honesty in the film won her critical acclaim, cementing her place as one of the most significant young talents in Hollywood. Suddenly, Dolores was not just an actress with promise, she was a star. Audiences adored her, and studios lined up to offer her roles that could further elevate her status. At the same time, Dolores's striking beauty and elegant demeanor made her a natural fit for the glamorous roles of the period. Yet, she resisted being pigeonholed. She wanted her work to have meaning, to explore deeper truths rather than simply reinforcing Hollywood stereotypes. This desire would soon lead her to take on roles that reflected her inner spiritual journey. Her peak moment wasn't just about fame, it was about the realization that acting could serve as a vehicle for something greater. In 1961, Dolores took on one of the most significant roles of her career, St. Clair of Assisi in the religious film Francis of Assisi. This role was unlike anything she had played before. It required a depth of faith, devotion, and inner strength that mirrored Dolores' own developing spiritual inclinations. Portraying St. Clair demanded more than acting skills. It required empathy, contemplation, and the ability to channel spiritual courage on screen. Dolores embraced the challenge wholeheartedly. Her performance was praised for its sincerity and intensity as she brought to life a saint defined by sacrifice, compassion, and unwavering faith. During the making of the film, Dolores also revealed another side of her artistry. She created a sketch of a statue of St. Francis, a small but telling act that reflected her contemplative and creative nature. It was more than a doodle. It was a reflection of how deeply she had immersed herself in the story and its spiritual significance. This experience marked a profound shift in her career and personal life. Dolores was no longer content with lighthearted comedies or romantic dramas. She wanted her work to mean something, to align with her growing sense of purpose. The seeds planted during her Catholic upbringing and nurtured during her education at Mundelein were beginning to bloom in her Hollywood career. The role of St. Clair wasn't just a performance, it was a foreshadowing of the life Dolores would one day fully embrace. As Dolores's career advanced, it became clear that she was not just another actress chasing fame. Her roles increasingly reflected her desire to explore complexity and truth. She took on The Inspector, 1961, where she played Lisa, a character navigating love, morality, and resilience. The film earned a Golden Globe nomination, and Dolores was praised for her subtle yet powerful performance. At the same time, Dolores's personal life was showing signs of her deeper reflections. She sought meaning beyond red carpets and Hollywood spotlights. Her contemplative nature, revealed in sketches and in her choice of roles, suggested that she was quietly searching for something more enduring than fame. The Hollywood persona of Dolores Hart was beginning to blend with a spiritual self that longed for authenticity and devotion. By the early 1960s, Dolores continued to appear in meaningful projects, but there was a noticeable shift in her choices. In 1963, she starred in an episode of The Virginian titled The Mountain of the Sun. She played a Catholic missionary, a woman of faith who risked her life to serve a community of poor and sick Native Americans. The role resonated deeply with Dolores, as it allowed her to merge her acting skills with the portrayal of courage, sacrifice, and devotion. This episode turned out to be her final acting role, airing in April 1963. Just a month earlier, her last film, Come Fly With Me, had been released. Both projects reflected a matured actress, one who had grown from Hollywood starlet to an artist capable of embodying depth, morality, and conviction. For audiences, it may have seemed like Dolores was just entering the height of her career, but privately she was preparing for a decision that would shock Hollywood and change her life forever. In 1963, at the age of just 24, Dolores Hart made a decision that stunned her fans, colleagues, and the entire entertainment industry. She walked away from Hollywood at the peak of her fame to pursue a life of faith as a Roman Catholic nun. To the public, it seemed inconceivable. How could a woman with beauty, fame, and a promising future ahead choose to abandon it all? But for Dolores, the answer was simple. She had discovered a deeper calling, one that gave her life purpose beyond awards, applause, and fame. Her decision was not a rejection of her past, but a continuation of the journey she had been quietly on since childhood. Acting had given her a platform, but faith gave her a mission. Dolores Hart's story remains one of Hollywood's most extraordinary transformations. From starring alongside Elvis Presley to becoming the prioress of the Abbey of Regina Laudis, she proved that true courage lies not in clinging to fame, but in answering the call of one's heart. Even today, at 86, Dolores reflects on her journey with grace, reminding the world that the greatest roles we play are not on screen, but in life itself. At 86, Dolores Hart finally speaks her truth, a story entwined with Hollywood's golden era and the legendary Elvis Presley. She was the young actress who captivated audiences with her poise, charm, and grace, sharing the screen with the king of rock and roll himself. For many, Dolores was destined to become one of the great leading ladies of cinema. Yet her life took a turn few could have anticipated. This is the story not just of fame, films, and red carpets, but of a journey toward a higher calling. Dolores Hart's life is a remarkable tale of courage, devotion, and the pursuit of meaning, one that transcends the glamour of Hollywood. While her on-screen performances are remembered fondly, her real-life story, especially her reflections on Elvis Presley, reveals a woman of extraordinary depth who dared to follow her heart beyond the limelight. Dolores Hart was born Dolores Hicks on October 20th, 1938, in Chicago, Illinois. Her childhood was nurtured in a close-knit Catholic family that valued discipline, moral integrity, and compassion. From a young age, Dolores displayed an artistic sensibility and a curiosity that would shape her future endeavors. She was observant, reflective, and deeply empathetic, traits that later informed her acting and spiritual journey alike. Growing up in a bustling city during the tail end of the Depression, she faced both challenges and formative experiences that strengthened her character. Family, faith, and community provided her with stability and purpose. Her parents encouraged her to pursue education and the arts, instilling in her both confidence and humility. These values became guiding principles, laying the foundation for a life defined by conscience and creativity. Her early life was also marked by a sensitivity to human emotion and moral complexity. Dolores's natural inclination toward reflection, combined with a nurturing environment, created the perfect balance between artistic curiosity and spiritual awareness. This balance would later influence her career choices, guiding her from the glitz of Hollywood to the quiet devotion of monastic life. Dolores attended Mundelein College in Chicago, a liberal arts institution dedicated to fostering both intellectual and spiritual growth in women. It was here that she explored literature, drama, and philosophy, cultivating a love for the arts while strengthening her moral and ethical grounding. The college environment nurtured her critical thinking and encouraged self-reflection, qualities that would later inform her professional and personal choices. During this period, Dolores discovered that acting was more than performance. It was storytelling, a way to inhabit the lives of others and convey authentic human emotion. Her professors encouraged her to pursue creative endeavors, helping her develop the poise, discipline, and empathy that would define her on-screen presence. Was this combination of education, faith, and artistic training that prepared Dolores for a career in Hollywood? Unlike many young actresses, she was determined not to rely solely on beauty or glamour. Instead, she sought roles that allowed her to explore emotional depth and human complexity, setting the stage for a career that would be both acclaimed and spiritually resonant. Dolores's career trajectory accelerated when she signed with Paramount Pictures, one of Hollywood's most prestigious studios. Her elegance, charm, and natural screen presence distinguished her from other young actresses of the era. It was clear that Dolores possessed something rare, a combination of beauty, grace, and authenticity that translated effortlessly on camera. Her debut role alongside Elvis Presley in Loving You, 1957, marked a pivotal moment. At a time when Elvis was a cultural phenomenon, Dolores held her own, complementing his charisma and captivating audiences with her poise and warmth. Critics praised her performance for its sincerity, noting that she could match Elvis's energy without being overshadowed. Following this, she starred in King Creole, 1958, further solidifying her reputation as a talented actress capable of nuanced performances. Dolores's on-screen chemistry with Elvis was undeniable, and her ability to convey both strength and vulnerability drew the admiration of audiences and filmmakers alike. Hollywood had found in her not just a rising star, but a performer capable of leaving a lasting mark on American cinema.